And we are live. Good morning, everyone. This is your host, Patrick Lee, and it's time for Midweek Motivation Live. We're going to be talking about mastering productivity today. We've got notifications going off. Let's make sure everything is good. This happens every week. I love it. I'm a busy man. I have a busy schedule, and I continue to pull time out for you every week. People tuning in already to watch the show today, I appreciate that. We are going to talk about mastering productivity today, planning your work, and then working your plan. Welcome to another episode of Midweek Motivation Live with me, Patrick Lee, your host. Today, we're diving into the art of planning your work and then working your plan. I talk about this from time to time on the show, how to break things down. How do you become more productive? Let's talk about that today. Was unlock the secrets to efficient and effective productivity. I'm not claiming to be a seasoned productivity coach. Many of you know that. I am your coach, but I am your host. I am not just a seasoned productivity coach. Good morning, Sal. Good to see you on here. But I am a productivity coach. I may not be the best realtor in the world, but I'm one of the best realtors in the world. Am I the most important person or the most influential in the personal development space? No, but I am influential in the personal development space. So we want to unlock some of these secrets to efficient and effective productivity today. I'm not claiming to be the best, but I do have some exact methods that I use that have helped me in my business growth journey. And I believe this outline, the tips I'm going to share with you today, can help you in your life or your business as well. So thank you all for being here. Let's dig in. Point one, the power of clear objectives. I believe that having a clear objective in your plan is vitally important. Um, Everything worthwhile that you decide to plan starts with setting clear objectives, defining what you want. I've talked to you in the past about making a line down the middle of a piece of paper, right? And putting the goal at the top or the objective, and then writing the pros on one side, usually the right side, and the cons or the negatives on the left side. That's a big tool that I use when deciding, is this a worthwhile objective? I think that it's imperative that you define what you want to achieve, break it down into smaller tasks, and then prioritize those tasks. But if you'll make that line down the middle of a piece of paper, write down the pros and cons, what is the best outcome that could happen if you did make that objective, set that objective and go for it. And then what's the worst that could happen on the other side? Hey, Christine, Pete, Elva, a lot of people tuning in today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I just got back from a youth group ski trip, was out in the snow for a few days and lost my voice yesterday. When I woke up, I sounded like Barry White, but now I sound halfway more like myself again, and I'm back in the saddle and happy to be here. Hey, Gina, good morning to you as well. Pete, good morning, everyone watching the show. Some of you will recognize some of these. Many of you that are students of productivity will understand that these are some of the best tips that you can use. Planning your work and working your plan is one of the key methods that most people who are successful use. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm not the best at it, but I'm pretty good at it. And most of the things that I want in my life, I do achieve. And it's by utilizing many of these tools. So having clear goals, number one, our point, the power of clear objectives and goals. Having clear goals, the Bible even says that we are to write the vision plain that they may run who read it. Now, many of you know, and I share this all the time, the Bible is the first self-help book, the self-motivational speaking book, the first book to teach us how to be successful in life. That most all other personal development books are written on they get their motivation from. So not having a clear goal or objective is one of the key crucial things that you can do to your business that will totally mess you up if you don't do it. If people don't know where the leader is going, it makes it very hard for them to follow the leader, right? And your goal in life as a leader in your family and your business, whatever that is to have clear, goals and objectives. That way people can lead you. Having a clear goal helps guide your planning process. One of the ways that the Franklin planning process that I used to use that helped me was the ABCs and 1, 2, 3 approach. You would take all of these goals that you would write down on paper and you start to assign those goals with an A, B, or C. Is that an A goal? Meaning, is it something that's absolutely imperative that I get it done? Is it a B goal? Something that's very important, but it's not going to change my life drastically if I don't get it done in a timely manner. And then C goals are the things, the objectives that you would like to do. And usually your list of C goals and objectives is very long. And they are things that if you achieved all of your A's and most of your B's, you would like to be able to get in some of those C's, right? So you've got A, B's, and C's. Well, once you've broken those goals and objectives into A, B, or C, then you're going to apply a number as well, a 1, 2, or 3. In that column of A goals and objectives, are those A goals? Is it your number one goal of the day or the week, the most imperative goal that you have to have done, and it has to be done first? And you would apply that number 1, and then you would apply the number 2. If I get number 1 done, I need to do number 2 next. And then likewise with 3. Now, if you're planning your day and you have A, B, and C, you have 1, 2, and 3, I almost guarantee you that your whole day is going to be full. Okay. The Franklin planning method. I carried my Franklin planner around like a Bible. It's a complete day planner book. Many of you watching the show are still using the Franklin planner method. I do love that method. I don't currently use it. I do use the structured calendar that includes 6 different calendars, all in the palm of my hand. I could probably go back to utilizing the Franklin planner. They have it available for smartphones and iPads now. But I am finding that my calendar in my phone, that my previous coach taught me how to color code and fill, is working very well for me. Then other plans go on the whiteboard and they go into our planning book as well that we carry with us. Cody, yes, sir. P. Lee in the house. Good to see you watching again today, my brother. So one of the ways the Franklin planning process utilizes that, as I have used it in the past, like I said, is the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. So once you have written your goals down on paper, you have defined each and every one of them and decided if that is a worthy or unworthy goal or plan utilizing the pros and cons method. Add those things into your plan, into your day. On my calendar, I have color coded, and my family of things go into my calendar first. The objectives and goals I have for my family time, date night, vacations, church, special events that we have planned. Those that are family go into my calendar absolutely first. And then I have a red color that goes in for all business planning and growth activity. So 3 times a week at 2:00 in the afternoon, I have a 15-minute mastery session. In the mornings from 9 to 11, other than on midweek motivation day, those are all lead generation times. In the morning, we plan our lunch. We schedule it into our calendar so we don't just go off willy-nilly and just go eat whenever. Sometimes we work through lunch, sometimes we do not, but we schedule a lunchtime in there to take breaks, time for downtime, for pausing and reflection. Put those into your calendar. But then once we have done that, let's get into point number 2, structuring your plan. Point number 2, structure the plan. Once we have those objectives, we structure our plan for optimal productivity. Remember, organization is key. Categorizing tasks by urgency and importance. That's the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s, right? Create your daily or weekly schedule, allocating specific time slots for each task. This ensures a structured approach to your work. What you fail to plan, you actually plan to fail. If you do not structure this, and we're going to move into a little bit of a grace period next, don't worry about that. But if you do not structure any of this, Basically, your plans, your goals, your dreams have no foundation to be built upon. You have to have some kind of a structure to it to ensure that you actually go out and approach it in a firm manner, in an aggressive manner, in a manner worthy of the plan itself. Then point number 3, here comes a little bit of grace. Point number 3 is be flexible. You need to have some flexibility in planning. Some may argue that plans are bound to change, and I've heard that forever. My agents have told me that I can't be held and bound to a calendar. How can you, as a listener, however, maintain flexibility while sticking to your plan? Well, you have to learn to be adaptable. One of the secrets to success that I have utilized in multiple businesses, in multiple companies that I have worked at, is adaptability. I have sort of embraced the lifestyle of a chameleon. And the chameleon, you know, that little lizard, the gecko lizard guy that travels around and on all these tropical islands, whatever environment it walks up against, it takes on that environment, right? If it happens to climb up a tree with green leaves, it will become green and it blends in. If it's on a brown bark or a gray stone, it can change its color to the surrounding that it's in, so that it blends in and it protects itself from being eaten alive, right? Well, you have to learn how to do that as well with your calendar. You have to learn how to be flexible, nimble like a cat, but also adaptable to what is going on. You can't be so structured that if an emergency happens or something more important does come up, you're so structured, you have to stick to the plan that you miss out on other opportunities that do arise, sometimes by surprise, or you end up hurting those that you love and care for by being so unwilling to change that their opportunity or the importance of what they need a little bit of your time about is lost. So remember that while you have a structured plan, adaptability is crucial. Life is unpredictable and plans might need some adjustments. So here's what I do. I have buffer zones. And I like to call this, in my brain, I call it a spongy spot. And that's when we have set a plan to do something and it's at a certain time and something comes up. You put these buffer zones around your schedule. So even in my calendar, when I have things that are rigid and planned to the hour, I used to have my schedule so planned when I was in coaching that I would plan it down to the 15 minutes, and I may have 4 different tasks within an hour, all at 15-minute spots. And it became so structured that I was choking and I was not able to flow. And as a high I, many of you know, as a high I, I am an interpersonal type person, a talker, and I have stacks of piles of papers and books that I work through. And I have to have some spongy spots to be able to bounce from one pile, from one task to another. So just like the pole vaulter, when he jumps over the pole vault, or the high jumper, when they land on the other side, they have a spongy spot to land on. And having those set up in your calendar will help you have some spare time in between tasks for things that go short or things that run long. Find those spongy spots between structure and flexibility and add those into your calendar. And I think that you will find that that helps you with adaptability, putting in these spongy spots, because life is unpredictable, even in the most structured world. There's a sign. We had a crazy sign guy around Amarillo years ago that put up these little street signs all over town. And on the interstate on I-27 on the south side of town, near Bell Street on the access road, there is a sign that says accidents happen even in the most well-structured universe. Is almost identical to what that says. Accidents happen even in the most well-planned universe. And I thought, what a random sign. But that sign is stuck in my head. Things happen. We can be planned and structured, but realize things happen. Then moving on. Hey, Marlene, good to see you watching as well. Moving on to point number 4, utilizing productivity tools. And this is one that I delve into and then I back off of, and then I delve into it, then I back off of it as well. Technology has provided us with many various tools. How can we leverage tools to enhance planning and execution? I am just now starting to get into AI over the last few weeks. Artificial intelligence. Now, there are artificial intelligence apps out there that can actually write your calendar for you. They can provide tasks. You can go into Chat GPT or Chat AI, and you can tell it to assign you specific tasks and plan your calendar if you want. And I have not done this, but I have seen it in action, and it's pretty incredible. You can write down your plans and goals and put them into a list and copy and paste it into Chat AI, and it will write you a calendar that you can copy and paste into your own calendar based on the goals and dreams that you have. Is that crazy or what? So artificial intelligence is one way to do it. I don't necessarily believe that that's the way. I want it to structure something for me that fits me, but not to create a structure that I am held to based on a computer model. But I would allow my input to go into it for it to provide an outline for me to copy and paste into my calendar. Does that make sense? One of the other technology tools that I use is Calendly. Calendly is an app that you can share with people that allows them to schedule time with you in your calendar. You can give your assistant access to your Calendly, and they can schedule your calendar for you. Even if you just give them the access to your Google or your website, your calendar. Many people are doing this already. You give them the ability to set appointments for you. They can make phone calls and schedule appointments for you. They have access to your calendar. That's one way you can hire an assistant. Many of you love to have a personal assistant that is in person. My daughter, Erica, works for me, does marketing and administrative work. But there are also countless companies out there like Sphere Rocket down in Dallas, Justin Nelson and his company, and they have hundreds of personal virtual assistants from the Philippines. And for a very low price, you can hire a virtual assistant. They get access to your calendar, to your technology, and these people can actually do tasks for you overseas, all online in the background, and they are never seen. And they help you with your productivity. They can make phone calls for you. They can answer emails for you. They can set appointments for you. They can do many different tasks. So utilize technology as much as you can, if you're comfortable doing that, as one of the various tools available to help you leverage your time. It will help you enhance your planning and execution of the goals you have set. There are countless productivity apps and tools available. I like Calendly. I use a couple of other apps. Find the apps that work for you, whether it's project management apps, and many of those are out there as well. Time tracking tools, many of you have those. I have used time trackers. A lot of people now have time tracking tools on their smartphone, their smartwatch. Or you can also use collaborative platforms that can streamline your planning and improve overall efficiency. I hope this is driving home with those of you watching how important it is for us to have a plan. Plan your work and then work your plan. Here's another point, number 5. This is my favorite. Those of you that know me know this one is my favorite. And it's one that I struggle with, but it's avoiding overcommitment. One common pitfall to having a schedule is overcommitting. How can you avoid this and ensure you're setting realistic expectations? It's crucial to be realistic about your time and energy. We've talked about those, your finite resources, right? Don't bite off more than you can chew. You only have a certain number of minutes in the day. I have talked to you in the past about Ed Milet's plan of having like 3 days in a day. And he will get up at 4 a.m. and from about 4 to 12, that's a whole day. He can get more done in the morning between 4 and 12 than most people do in a whole day. And that's Ed Milet's first day in the day. And then from 12 to 6, he will set appointments and do a whole day's worth of appointments, tape shows, do numerous things like that. And that's another whole day. And then from 6 to midnight, he will do other tasks, set appointments for the next day, plan out work for the next day, make phone calls, networking events, and gets another whole day's worth of work done in the evening. So you can get 3 days worth of work done in one day. So it's crucial to be planned and structured, but don't allow yourself to fall into the pitfall of overcommitting if it's not going to work for you. You must avoid this and ensure you're setting realistic expectations of your time as well as your energy, right? If you bite off more than you can chew, you're going to choke on that, and you will crash and burn, and it will not be pretty. Prioritize your tasks based on their impact and their deadlines, like I talked about earlier, using the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Learn to say no when necessary to maintain a sustainable workload. I had a coach a few years ago, and we were sitting here at a local coffee shop, and he happened to tell me, he said, I noticed that you are serving in about 7 different areas, serving your church and serving your job and your family and your businesses and other areas and nonprofits. And because I gave him access to my schedule, and he says, you're overcommitted. And why do you think that is? And I said, it's because I have a hard time saying no to people. When they ask me, I want to be agreeable. When they ask me to help, I want to say yes. I had read a book years ago called The Power of Yes. And the best way for you to get involved and become more friendly and do a lot of things, be asked to do a lot of things, is just by saying yes to everything. And that actually was fairly effective for me. You say yes to everything. Yes to the dinner parties. Yes to serving on a nonprofit. Yes to leading a group of network marketers. Yes to joining your friend in a business plan. Yes to the trips. Yes to fishing. Yes to hunting. Yes to helping friends move. It's just yes. And then you become known as the yes man. Everyone can count on you to say yes. Cody says yes with conditions. I like that. That's kind of where I'm going with this as well. Cody knows me well. Yes with conditions is good. It gets you into the power of yes opens doors for you. Okay. Saying yes to great opportunities gets you in the room with people that can help you, that can help grow you, help lead you, guide you, mentor you. But then also it gets you into rooms with people that will use you, steal all of your resources, and then shove you to the side of the road. So it's very crucial to be realistic about your time and energy. Very crucial. It's important to differentiate between the things you say yes to and the things you say no to. There is so much power and liberty in the word no, and that is one of the things that I had to learn. My wife, Marlene, wonderful agent on my team, an assistant and friend, has to keep me in check on these things regularly. You have to learn to say no, Patrick. You can't keep doing this thing, all of these things for your agents. You can't keep doing all of these things for your clients. You can't keep doing all of these things for your church, even though you want to. It's imperative that we work and serve, lead, guide, all of those things. But it's all got to be within the structure of the plan, or the plans and the goals never come to pass, right? The power of the word no. And then point 6, regular review and reflection. I didn't put up my banner. Avoid overcommitment, the power of no. Point 6, regular review and reflection. You cannot measure what you do not track. As we wrap up, our final point for ensuring long-term success is planning and execution. It's this: regularly review your progress. How many of you ever had a progress review or an employee review with your boss? I've had many. We used to have them quarterly. I used to have them quarterly with all of my employees when I was running bakeries, all of my wrappers, my bakers, my tortilla makers, my donut production people. You'd have a quarterly. You always have daily interaction, right? But you would have a quarterly review. You'd go in for your review, and we would fill out all of the information and go over the good and the bad and the ugly with every one of our employees, right? We do that with our kids when they're growing up. How many of you have ever had to have a come to Jesus meeting, right? A family planning clinic. We used to have these come to Jesus meetings. Elvis says, let your yes be yes and no be no. Very good. That's common man's English, right? The Bible says, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay, or your no be no. Very true. When you say yes to something, you need to stick with it. You need to honor your word. But then you also need to remember, on the flip side of that coin, if you have already said no, you need to stick to the no. And we can go back to flexibility, right? There will be times in the structure of our plan that we have said no, and new information comes about, a new sense of urgency comes about, and we weigh it against the plan and we can say yes. But for the most part, if you have said no, you need to stick to that no. The continuous improvement process helps refine our planning and execution strategies, ensuring we stay on the path of productivity mastery. We have to stay on track, meaning we have to track what we're doing. So when we have these regular reviews, quarterly reviews, every time you achieve a goal, I believe that you should mark it off and have a celebration. Positive reinforcement for achieving a goal is imperative for you to continue staying motivated and moving towards the next goal, right? So as you do that, have the small celebrations, and lift each other up, pump each other up for that. And then remember, once you've gotten past that, it's time to move on to the next task. So in conclusion, there you have it, 6 productivity points to help you with your mastery of productivity. 6 points: mastering the art, planning your work, and working your plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I've heard it said to me so many times. One of my first bosses, when I was 15 years old, was Jim Cornish. He worked in the supermarket. He never graduated high school, but he was running the store with about 30 punk teenage kids and then all of the other regular adults that were the cashiers and assistant managers, people in my small town. And he started sharing these things with me as a young man, how to bite off the right amount of work, how to get, stay studious, walk fast, like you know where you're going. He used to say, walk like you got some sense, walk with direction. But he would break everything down on a big chalk. We had a chalkboard back then. It was before whiteboards, and he would chalkboard down everyone's tasks for each day. And many of the days I'd work in the dairy. Some days you'd go work in pop and beer. Some days you'd be a cashier. On truck nights, everyone pulled in together, and we had a structured plan of who did what part of the store, on who worked what aisles, and you restocked the store. As I grew up and I got into other, supermarkets and management myself, it's kind of funny that I started there at 15 years old and then spent about 20 years working later on as a department manager and professional baker in supermarkets. Because of the structure, I think that's what attracted me to it. And it's something that stuck with me because you had so many different levels of management, and plans that had to be done, right? And if you just learn that if you write out the plan, you have something to go by. If you write it down, you can always refer back to that. And that's probably one of the things that has helped me structure my life to the point that I have, to where I can make sense out of putting goals down on paper, defining whether they are worthy. And if they are worthy, why are they worthy? What is the importance behind going for the goal? And if you don't have anything written down, or you don't have any plan, how in the world are you going to expect to go out and achieve great things in your life? And that's what I want for all of you, to achieve great things in your life. Remember, it's not just about making the plans. It's about the discipline and execution it takes to bring those plans to fruition. What's the point of making the plans, right, if you're not going to go after them? Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Cody. Appreciate you and everyone else watching today. Remember, until next time, being structured may be uncomfortable, but what do we say about comfort here at Midweek Motivation Live? Courage begins at the end of your comfort zone. Stay productive, my friends, not comfortable. Until next time, this has been Patrick Lee with Midweek Motivation Live. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will see you next week.